Hello, listeners. My name is Fatan, and I am joined by Tony and Sajed. Welcome to this episode of the PolisPod, where we will be discussing the ancient Greeks, obviously. Specifically, we will discuss ancient Greek epic, drama, and oratory. The million-dollar question: which form of literature or speech tells us the most about the ancient Greeks? You may be asking yourself, why should I care? Well, the ancient Greeks are only the most influential and interesting ancient civilization of all time, so it would only make sense to find out which source can tell us the most about them. If you disagree, that discussion will just have to wait for another day. Without further ado, let us delve into the dramatic history of the ancient Greeks, starting off with Greek drama.
Thanks, Fatan. Greek drama offers us a window into the hopes, fears, and aspirations of the ancient Greeks. Through the artful craft of playwrights like Sophocles, Euripides, and Aristophanes, these stories transcend time, inviting us to ponder the complexities of the human experience. Today, we journey into the heart of Greek drama and uncover why it remains a timeless treasure of insight and inspiration.
Okay, drama is alright, but let me tell you about oratory. It means public speaking, and it's one of the most prevalent genres of text from the time. Oratory was done for multiple occasions: speeches at the assembly and funerals, or the one we spent the most time on, which is speeches in a court of law. This type of oratory is called forensic oratory and was essentially the way ancient Greeks did criminal defense. Those who wrote these speeches and spoke publicly were called rhetors, with some famous ones being Pericles, Lysias, and Demosthenes. The persuasion these rhetors had was not merely a skill in ancient Greece, but a means to shape the course of history, as both the product of and influence on democracy, perhaps the greatest invention of the ancient Greeks. And that is why it tells us the most about them.
Thanks, Tony. Now, let me talk about Greek epic. We know today that the ancient Greeks were very interested in epic poetry, possibly almost as much as they were in depicting risque situations. You also might be interested to know that the Greek epic is widely recognized today as the foundation of ancient Greek history. But what even is Greek epic? It's recognized as a genre of poetry that is defined by its meter, dactylic hexameter. It tells of the exciting deeds of notable characters and how the consequences of their dealings with gods and supernatural forces have shaped the world. One of the most notable sources of Greek epic is the Iliad from Homer, which I will be discussing later on. Though it may be argued that Greek epic did not always tell us the most realistic things about the ancient Greeks, considering its supernatural aspects, examining underlying themes hidden away in epic reveal the most interesting things about the ancient Greeks, such as the motivations behind their actions. Now, I'll explain why I think that this is the source that tells us the most about the ancient Greeks, both in quantity and in quality. In contrast to Greek oratory and drama, epic poetry offers us a multifaceted lens through which we can explore and understand the ancient Greeks. It's also not as boring as oratory, considering it was performed as entertainment for an audience, and that's enough for me personally. Reading into it, we can learn about Greek values, their notions of fate, heroism, and divinity. One of the most famous epic poems is Homer's Iliad. It is pretty much the manual for what it means to be a hero. It tells of events that took place in Troy or were about Troy, like the Trojan War, which may or may not have happened. The first book in the Iliad surrounds Achilles the demigod. We learn about his motivation to strive for excellence on the battlefield through struggle. This tells us that the Greeks were incredibly concerned with being the best, and not only that, they wanted everyone to know they were the best. Reputation and prestige were paramount, and individuals were willing to risk their lives for fame and recognition. So admirable indeed. The epic poems of Homer provided source material for our earliest Greek tragedies, comedies, and histories, influencing writers from then till now. It would be fair to say that Homer's Iliad is the first thing in Western canon, if it even exists. As such, ancient Greek epic fathers ancient Greek drama and oratory. The influence of Homer's epic style can be discerned in the use of vivid imagery, emotional appeals, and elevated language characteristic of Greek oratory. Moreover, the themes of fate, honor, divine interventions, and the complexities of human nature explored in Homer's epics resonated throughout Greek drama, shaping its thematic content and dramatic conventions. So, what I'm saying is that Greek epic is the OG, and the OG deserves its respect. Unlike oratory and drama, Greek epic tells us a lot about ancient Greek warfare and warrior culture. Specifically in the Iliad, it provides detailed descriptions of battle tactics, weaponry, armor, and the dynamics of combat. The poem reflects the martial ethos of the Greeks, emphasizing the virtues of courage, strength, skill in arms, and camaraderie among warriors. Warfare is a huge part of ancient Greek culture, and there is no better place to learn from it than from epic poetry.
Well, actually, Fatan, I believe that oratory is a better type of text to use when trying to learn about ancient Greek warfare. Epic is cool and all, but for all we know, epic poetry is just a bunch of made-up stories for kids. Pericles' funeral oration, for example, is a much better document that tells us about warfare. Not only is it one of the best Greek orations, but is considered by some to be the greatest speech in history. This speech was delivered by Pericles in 430 BCE, at the end of the first year of the Peloponnesian War. The Athenians held a public funeral for the soldiers who fell in battle during that past year. Thucydides heard and recorded the speech, telling us how it glorified the dead by focusing on the greatness of the city that they died for. It appealed to the Athenians' sense of patriotism, sparking a desperately needed rally, and gave them power they needed to keep fighting for 26 more years. Pericles' speech was heavily influential at the time and showed us aspects of Greek warfare. It also influenced Abraham Lincoln's Gettysburg Address, another speech considered to be one of the greatest ever.
Okay, but the Athenians didn't even win that war, so the speech clearly wasn't that important. Now, going back to epic poetry, it often includes detailed descriptions of battle scenes. Homer's Iliad, for example, offers richly detailed accounts of specific engagements, describing the tactics, maneuvers, and clashes between warriors in a way that immerses the reader in the experience of ancient Greek warfare. These detailed battle scenes provide a comprehensive understanding of the dynamics, brutality, and heroism of ancient Greek combat, which may not be as fully depicted in oratory or drama. Also, while oratory and drama may touch upon the concept of heroism, epic poetry places a particular emphasis on the heroic individualism and legendary exploits of these larger-than-life figures. Finally, epic poetry intertwines the realms of myth, religion, and warfare, presenting a worldview where gods and mortals coexist and interact in the context of battle. This integration of mythology and religion contributes to a deeper understanding of the spiritual and metaphysical dimensions of ancient Greek warfare, which may be less prominent in oratory and drama.
You have a point there, Fatan, but consider this. Consider the role of tragedy as an experience for the audience. In tragedies like Ajax by Sophocles, we see characters grappling with themes of honor, duty, and the consequences of war. These narratives serve not only as entertainment, but also as a means of collective thought, allowing audiences to confront their own fears and anxieties in a safe and controlled environment. Similarly, in today's world, we find solace and understanding in the tragedies depicted on stage or on screen as we navigate our own challenges.
I guess that's true. I suppose drama does give an insight into ancient Greek warfare that epic may not highlight as well. Anyways, continuing on the topic of ancient Greek religion, almost everyone's heard about the Greek gods by now. Zeus, Poseidon, Hades, Athena, and the rest of the jolly, happy family. And it's all thanks to epic poetry, pretty much. The works of Homer provide us with the foundational narratives and descriptions of the Greek gods. And as we know today, the ancient Greeks did not play about their gods. We could not have known this from just drama and oratory. Last but not least, epic poetry showcases a wide range of literary techniques and poetic devices, including epic similes, epithets, meter, and narrative structure. These artistic elements not only enhance the aesthetic appeal of the poems, but also convey deeper meanings and themes. By analyzing the intricate craftsmanship of epic poetry, scholars have discerned the artistic sensibilities, linguistic prowess, and storytelling traditions of the ancient Greeks, offering valuable clues about their literary culture and oral tradition. And that concludes why I think epic oratory is the source that tells us the most about the ancient Greeks.
Thanks, Fatan. But let's now dive deep into the mesmerizing world of Greek drama. While we've previously touched upon the power of oratory and the allure of epic poetry, there's something unique about Greek drama that beckons us to explore further. let's peel back the layers and uncover why Greek drama isn't just entertainment. It's a window into the soul of the ancient world. So let's break it down. Greek drama isn't just about larger-than-life tales of gods and heroes. It's about us, our hopes, our fears, our triumphs, and our tragedies. Just consider the themes that permeate these ancient narratives. We're talking about fate, morality, justice, and the eternal struggle between free will and destiny. These aren't just abstract concepts. They're the very essence of what it means to be human. And let's not forget about the sheer cultural significance of Greek drama. These performances weren't just entertainment. They were communal experiences that brought entire communities together. From the grand religious festivals honoring Dionysus to the intimate performances staged in the heart of the city, drama was woven into the fabric of Athenian life.
Well, Sajed, festivals are one way to bring people together, sure, but these were just for fun. When people really needed to be brought together was at times of struggle. Like I mentioned before, the Greeks have gone through some struggles such as losing the war and public funerals for tons of dead soldiers. These public speeches brought the Greeks together in times of desperate need, much more important than a silly play.
You know, that's your opinion, Tony, but I really do value how drama brought the Greeks together. Anyways, moving on. Let's take for instance the portrayal of democracy in ancient Athens, a cornerstone of Greek society. In plays like the Eumenides by Aeschylus, we witness the tension between individual rights and collective justice, as the character of Orestes stands trial for matricide before a jury of Athenian citizens. This depiction not only sheds light on the complexities of Athenian democracy, but also prompts us to reflect on our own current struggle for justice and equality in our own democracies.
Actually, Sajed, I don't think drama can really be trusted when it comes to learning about their democracy. These were written as jokes and had tons of exaggeration. What part of that seems reliable to you? Many historians trust oratory to tell us information about the time. In Themes in Greek Society and Culture, an introduction to ancient Greece, it is said that oratorical texts, works associated with the law courts of Athens or the Athenian political assembly, are often considered the most reliable source, but their focus on persuasion should caution us against taking them too literally. So maybe we can't use these texts to guarantee facts of the time, but in my opinion, since they are intended to be persuasive, it can tell us a lot about the Greeks. Their biases can be used to infer what their justice system allowed and what mattered to them at the time, what was valued in society, what the juries possibly empathized for, and the nature of these orders as well. Oftentimes, forensic oratory is also where we can find out about ancient Greek laws and regulations.
That's cool and all, Tony, but don't forget, these plays often challenged traditional gender roles and societal norms, offering nuanced portrayals of women. In plays like Lysistrata by Aristophanes, we see women taking charge and asserting their agency in a male-dominated world. This serves as a powerful reminder of the ongoing struggle for gender equality and the importance of amplifying marginalized voices in our own society. On the flip side, we've got comedy, and the Greeks know how to bring the laughs. Aristophanes was the king of comedy, and his plays were all about poking fun at society's quirks and absurdities. Take Lysistrata, for example. Here, we've got a bunch of women who decide to go on a sex strike to end a war. It's hilarious, but it also makes you think about the power of unity and protest. Then there's The Clouds, where Aristophanes takes aims at the intellectual elites of Athens, especially Socrates. He's not afraid to call out the hypocrisy of the so-called wise guys. Through laughter and satire, Aristophanes wasn't just making people chuckle, he was shining a light on the absurdities of everyday life and giving a voice to the people. So to get back to my point, why does Greek drama tell us the most about the ancient Greeks? Because it's more than just stories on a stage. It's a reflection of the human experience in all its complexity. It's about the triumph of the human spirit in the face of adversity, the quest for meaning and purpose, and the eternal struggle to find our place in the world. The next time you find yourself swept away by the tragedies and comedies of ancient Greece, remember, you're not just watching history unfold, you're connecting with what it means to be alive.
You have both made some good points about what epic and drama tell us about the Greeks, but I think there are quite a few things that these texts don't actually tell us anything about at all. Although Homer himself is the most famous epic poet in Greek history, even he doesn't think it was the most important factor for the ancient Greeks. As we know, the sole purpose of the ancient Greeks was to live a life of arete, excellence, and Homeric heroism, or arete, was defined as being amazing at either killing or public speaking. Also, achieving arete can translate to mean that it is not enough to just be excellent, but you must be more excellent than others, excellent enough to stand out. Oratory played a pivotal role in shaping our understanding of ancient Greek society. Through the art of persuasive speaking, ancient Greek orators not only articulated the ideals and values important to their civilization, but also delved into some pretty intricate aspects of politics, law, and power dynamics. Especially with forensic oratory, many texts highlight the fact that the ancient Greeks were not so different from us. These criminal defense texts drew heavily on the hearts of the jury and prosecutors and show that ancient Greeks were smart and compassionate, as well as just. Lysias, who I think of as the original Rob Kardashian, exemplifies this in the text on the murder of Eratosthenes, as he managed to have his client, Euphiletos, acquitted. Typically, if someone during this time was tried for committing some crime, they could hire someone like this to write a speech for them, hoping to persuade a jury that they were innocent or that their actions were called for. In just examining Lysias's On the Murder of Eratosthenes, we can learn multiple laws of ancient Greece. He refers to the jury as gentlemen, telling us that they may have been strictly male juries. Also, we know that Euphiletos was pardoned for his acts, so the "your executioner is not I, but the laws of the city" must have resonated with the jury as a reasonable motivation for murder. And if a man's wife was seduced and corrupted, he was lawfully able to exact revenge upon the one who did this to her. So the Greeks were cool with second-degree murder.
Well, Tony, I don't think we can use this as a reliable source. These texts were literally used to try to convince people of certain narratives. Maybe in believing it, we're just victims of that manipulation.
I mean, yeah, Fatan's right. You really can't take oratory as a fact, and you can't use it to argue that it tells us more about the Greeks when it could be all made up.
Okay, you're right. I guess it must be taken with a grain of salt when it comes to actual laws and historical events. Well, at least it can tell us about people without history in ancient Greece, like non-citizens, women, and enslaved people. Even in this text by Lysias, laws can be interpreted from the wife and slave girl and the roles they play. The wife's role as a supervisor of the house, her or a woman's stature as a weak-minded individual who is seduced and corrupted, and the slave, given the option between confessing or being beaten and tortured. It definitely highlights the disempowerment of these classes of individuals and indicates what is and is not socially acceptable behavior from different people in ancient Greece.
Well, one could argue that details about people without history is not relevant information about the ancient Greeks. Do you have any important things that oratory can tell us about?
Okay, Fatan, I think it can still be important. But since you don't think so, think about this. Since these rhetors are remembered today, we know that oratory brought fame to the ancient Greeks. Great orators are talked about today, but they were also generational legends in ancient Greece. And not only are some Greeks famous for writing impressive speeches, like Lysias and Demosthenes, but others, such as Gorgias, are famous for the education they provided on the subject, and the price tag that came with it. Either way, oratory was incredibly influential. This further signifies how the art of oratory was valued, as a powerful tool in many aspects of life, even as a career, and as a skill that was yearned for and was passed down for many generations. Clearly, the ancient Greeks cared about knowledge and persuasion and the power that they led to. Do you guys believe me now that oratory is the most informative?
You made some good points for sure, Tony, but I still feel that drama tells us the most about them. Oratory just doesn't have the deep emotional connection that drama and epic do. But also, epic is very one-dimensional in what it can tell us. It only tells us about war. Oratory and epic are important, but overall, I still think that drama comes out on top.
Honestly, Sajed, we could argue about this all day. I think that we've all made great points, and now that I've heard each of your arguments, I don't know if any one of these texts alone can tell us the most about the ancient Greeks. It seems like drama and oratory told us more about people without history than epic ever did.
Yeah, and I found in your arguments that both epic and oratory convey their ways of warfare very well, in a way that drama probably just doesn't.
Coming into this discussion, I was sure that oratory was the most informative of the three. But now, I feel like there were some key aspects of ancient Greece that are left out or misrepresented. You guys have definitely changed my opinion a bit. Maybe in order to have the best understanding of the Greeks, you need to take info from all of these sources.
Yeah, Tony, after hearing each side of the argument, I'd like to ask our listeners, What type of ancient Greek text do you think tells us the most about them? I hope that our insights in this discussion have helped equip you to answer that question. Thanks for listening to this episode of the PolisPod, and we'll see you next time.